The Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is here, bringing beloved PS2 and PSP games, and it's a disaster with server issues, crashes and bugs. Over on Steam, the game opened with over 9,000 players on Thursday, and most of its reviews are negative with only 20% positive reception. While on console the game is not that good either, with Pushquare also pointing out the issues with performance on PlayStation platforms. User reviews on consoles are a bit better though, with PlayStation users giving it 3.5 stars and on Xbox 2.5. Among the complaints is the fact that the game launched with only 3 servers, which was not able to cover the demand, besides all the technical issues. These issues vary from a game-breaking bug with the respawn timer getting stuck, missing cutscenes in the campaign, lack of aim assist, split screen being limited to 2 players instead of 4, inverted controls being the only option for flight, instant crashes, bug hitboxes, sound issues, and we could go on and on. Developer Saber Media has published an update on all these issues, first thanking players for the overwhelming support for the game's release, and explaining that upon launch they had critical errors with their network resulting in high ping, matchmaking errors, crashes, and servers not appearing in the browser. They have been addressing these issues and increased network stability, and will continue their efforts until the network is stabilized to prevent further outages. I don't know how you massively underestimate a game with Star Wars in the title, and worse for a classic beloved series. But things can go wrong with online servers, just like it happened for Helldivers recently, however there's no excuse for the rest of the issues. Here's hoping they can fix everything soon for players to enjoy over the weekend. Did you pick up the Star Wars Battlefront collection? How has been your experience so far? Let us know in the comments. Welcome to Hype for Games. Here are more gaming news that you need to know. We stick with Star Wars news, but now for a project that started development at Saber Media before moving to Saber Interactive, and that's the Star Wars KOTOR remake. Embracer did end up selling Saber Interactive, more on that in the next story, and Embracer CEO Lars Wingfors explained that as part of the sale they have retained 2 joint projects with the buyer, including a previously announced AAA game based on a major license. Wingfors was questioned about the game's release and if it was to be expected in the next 12 months, to which the CEO replied, "No, I think that kind of game needs some deep love and respect, so without giving full color, I think needs some time left until that is released." It was never mentioned to be the Star Wars KOTOR remake, but Bloomberg's Jason Schreier speculates that could be the case, as it's the only game that fits that description. The way it's referenced though indicates the game is very far away from release and won't be out before April 2025. Are you looking forward to the Star Wars KOTOR remake? What do you think of the way Embracer has handled the project so far? Sound off in the comments. So speaking of Embracer, they confirmed the sale of developer and publisher Saber Interactive, as it was rumored for a total of $247 million. The publisher is being sold to Beacon Interactive, a private company controlled by Matthew Kark, a Saber Interactive co-founder. Out of the studios that form Saber Interactive, they will keep Nimble Giant, 3D Realms, Sandbox Strategies, New World Interactive, Sleepgate Ironworks, Madhead Games, Fracture Byte, and Digic. The rest remaining part of Embracer with the likes of Tripwire, Beamdog, Tuxedo Labs, Demiurge, Shiver, Saber Media, Snapshot Games, and 34 Big Things. Metro developer 4A Games and Pinball Sense Studios were reported after the announcement by Bloomberg to be part of a Beacon option to acquire these studios, taking the transaction up to $500 million. The rights to publish the Metro series for current and upcoming games will remain with Embracer, even if Saber acquires 4A Games. Given that Deep Silver, who has published previous games, is part of another Embracer company in PlayOn. Licensing rights include the other AAA game we were talking about in the previous story, likely the next Metro entry. Embracer has been restructuring for a while now, with several studio closures and layoffs after a $2 billion deal went wrong in May last year. With this sale, the Swedish company will also discontinue all operations in Russia. On the other side, Saber Interactive's Chief Creative Officer Tim Willits confirmed on Twitter the publisher is still working on several titles, including Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, and Jurassic Park Survival. I think this was the best option for Saber, and I'm hoping Embracer decides to sell more studios instead of closures and layoffs. What do you think of this move by Embracer? Which games are you looking forward to from Saber Interactive? Voice your opinion in the comments. Moving on, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has been out for 2 weeks now, and in Square Enix home turf the title has experienced a huge 91% drop in retail sales. The Square Enix RPG still did enough in the Japanese sales ranking to guarantee second place with over 24,000 units. The game now totals over 287,000 units sold in the region. The sales for FF7 Rebirth has been somewhat questionable since it didn't beat the launch sales number for FF7 Remake. Understandable since that one sold crazy due to the start of the pandemic, but it didn't beat Final Fantasy XVI at launch either. However, this huge drop in sales doesn't seem to be out of the ordinary for the Square RPG franchise, as noted by Genki on Twitter, previous installments have also experienced similar drops. Elsewhere in the rankings, Unicorn Overlord, the new tactical RPG from Vanillaware and Atlus, controlled the chart, with the Switch version landing first and the PS5 one in third. As its usual, Switch dominated the console sales ranking, followed by the PS5, Switch Lite, PS5 Digital and the regular Switch closing the top 5. What do you think of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sales? Have you been playing it since launch? Let us know in the comments. Next, Gameloft has announced a new partnership with Wizards of the Coast to create a game in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. It will be an adventure game combining real-time survival, life simulation and RPG genres, with the game also featuring co-op and the promise to appeal to both fans and newcomers alike. No release window was announced, but it will be launching for PC and consoles in the future. They didn't confirm which consoles, but given other Gameloft games such as Disney's Dreamlight Valley and Speedstorm are on PS4 and PS5, we can likely expect it there too. Does a new Dungeons & Dragons RPG sounds good to you? Sound off in the comments. And Shadows of the Dam, the action-adventure game from the PS360 era developed by Grasshopper Manufacture and produced by Resident Evil's father Shinji Mikami, is getting a remaster. It will now be named Shadow of the Dam Hella Remastered and will be playable at PAX East next week from March 21st to 24th. It seems like it will be published by Grasshopper Manufacture with EA not involved. They didn't announce any platforms, but it will likely come to all the current ones including PS4 and PS5. Are you looking forward to this remaster? Share with us in the comments. And those are the PlayStation stories for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, give this video a thumbs up or down to let me know your feedback. Check out more content you may like as well, such as the upcoming PS Plus catalog games for March, and subscribe for more on PlayStation. Thank you so much for watching, my name is Joseph, this is Hyper Games, and I'll see you on the next one.